What's up, TikTokies? We are live. What's up, you
Yeah.
Twitter
Hey,
and Facebookies?
what's going
How
on with the
y'all doing?
people?
Welcome to Hootie Who's Finest Talk Show. We are here. It's Wednesday. It's our day. We checking in with our people. And we got some updates, y'all. We got some updates for y'all, man. It's a lot going on in the YSL trial behind the scenes. The jury is not even back in yet. But as y'all can see, the look on her face on TikTok, she don't look happy. And we're going to get into that why the DA is not so happy about a lot of this that's going on in the court. What's
Yeah,
up, y'all? I see y'all tuning in to TikTok.
come through, come through.
That's YSL stuff. And we also going to give an update on some Massy.
Sonya Massy, yes.
Sonya Massy case. All right. So, Adrian, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. Good health. I'm blessed. Physical, good condition. Mentally I'm good. Spiritually I'm good. Yeah, ready to dive in.
Well, that's all that matters. All right. So, what about this YSL case? Have you been looking at a little bit of that? Did you do a little research on that? On
Yeah,
the motions, they're going through the motions. But for me, this is telling a lot about what kind of judge this case has and
yeah.
how she's going to be ruling on a lot of these things. Now, I'll give my opinion of her second. What's your opinion of this new judge on how she's going to be ruling on a lot of these things?
Well, she's all about, expediting things, right?
Right.
Getting things done, So she's not going to start the trial again. She ruled on emotions. She's ready to get started. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So,
she's ready to get this case over with.
and that's what I love about her is that she's getting organized. She's getting it organized, but I can tell she's tired as heck. Her voice, like at the end of the day, her voice is like cracky, is raspy. Like when she first started off, she was spunky, and it's like, it's wearing on her. It was wearing. I mean, just by me looking at what's going on, this case is in a mess, Adrian.
Yeah,
They like Judge Glanville had this thing all over the place. Like a lot of this stuff that they're doing right now, it should have been done. Like it
yeah.
really should have
Yeah,
been.
they're cleaning up a lot of things that he should have had straightened from out from the start.
Okay, so let's get into this. So for me, we got Scotty Boy in the chat. What's up from Scotland? We giving an update on this YSL, these motions and our feelings on this judge. For me, I believe that she is a very fair judge. I
Yeah,
really do. I think also that you can tell that the judges have a brotherhood, because she do not want anything said bad about Judge Glanville.
yeah, Glanville, yeah. Yeah,
So
but at the same time, it's still, she's still kind of playing by, the code of, that unspoken code. So, we expected her to make certain rulings, but I anticipated that some of her rulings wouldn't go, say, overboard for the prosecution or for the defense. And she played it safe.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did, but also she got into the prosecution a little bit. She got the prosecution nervous. Did you catch that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and she, even when she was so I watched the ruling on the prosecution's motions as well as the defense motion, and she was stern, but she was polite, but she just really put them on notice, like this is not going to continue to happen,
Right. I think too, so I want to play a little clip. I have a couple of clips for this, but
let's check them out.
I want to play a little clip because, well, first let me lay the foundation for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Foundation. Y'all know I've been watching too much court. Okay, all right. So we got Scotty. Nice to meet you too, Scotty. Lakeisha's up in the house. What's up? All right, so let me lay the foundation for this. So yesterday after court, and I think she did this on purpose, Adrian. She gave the defense transcripts that she got from Judge Glanville's court reporter of a second ex parte meeting that the defense did not know anything about. I saw that. So the defense in these transcripts, I guess Judge Glanville was talking about the defense attorneys on record. Like, what? I cannot make this up. Okay, so I gotta show y'all this. This is some.
Yeah, that's it. Let's check it out.
This is. Let me see which slide it is, Adrian. This is crazy. But this is one of the attorneys addressing the fact these attorneys was hot. I mean, he talked about these people. And he shouldn't have been doing that. Hold on, let me see where we are with this. Okay, so let's do him first. I think this is Attorney Sharp.
Yesterday, we received a transcript that was a transcript of an ex parte meeting that occurred on Friday.
Right. This is the one.
Monday.
Sorry, just so that we're clear for the record purposes. This is the transcript I gave y'all at the end of yesterday that reflects Ms. Love had said, oh, yeah, we had, and in court on the record, but ex parte discussion that led to the Monday, June 10th ex parte. So that's what you're talking about?
Maybe more artful, yes.
Okay.
We were made aware, leading to the recusal of Judge Glanville, that there was an ex parte meeting that occurred on June 10th, Monday, June 10th.
Sorry.
We were not told by the state, we're not told by the judge that had occurred. We found out about it, luckily.
Hold on. Sorry.
And by happenstance. We then demanded a transcript. We complained about said inappropriate ex parte meeting.
He's upset.
At no point, when the court finally acknowledged that there was an ex parte meeting that occurred on Monday, June 10th, at no point did the court or the state at that point acknowledge, oh, by the way, there was another ex parte meeting that occurred on June 7th.
Wow, another one.
We sat there after finding out about one ex parte meeting and having to drag the truth out. We sat there and the state and their co-conspirator, the trial court, were silent about the first ex parte meeting that happened on June 7th. What happened in that meeting on June 7th? The state went in and disparaged defense counsel. The state, with no one else there, trashed a fellow member of the bar, Mr. Melnick, trashed another fellow member of the bar, Taylor Bumpus, presumed the guilt of all these individuals, including my client, Shannon Stillwell, and all but accused myself and Mr. Steele of being co-conspirators in this YSL enterprise. And the judge agreed. And the judge said in this ex parte meeting, yes, I've observed these things.
Woo!
The judge presumed the guilt of all the defendants. The judge presumed the guilt of myself and co-counsel, Mr. Steele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just actually saw that this morning that it was another ex parte hearing, And so and it's just kind of like, so if that would have came out during like the recusal process, Glanville would have really, they would have thrown a book at him, so to speak. Getting him off the case, reprimanded him, the whole nine, whatever, that.
What do you think is going to happen now with this, Adrian? Like, I know they're going to file some motions again. Do you think they're going to file some motions again with this? He talked about those people like a dog. And so she's stuck with angry defense attorneys at the recused judge of what he did. So she's stuck with cleaning a lot of this up. Adrian, do you think this is grounds for mistrial?
Well, declaring a mistrial is still a stretch, and I know that was something that, we've talked about. A lot of the our viewers, they were talking about, possibly having a mistrial. But, when it comes to a mistrial, declaring a mistrial, there's certain criteria that they need to meet. So with this new judge has nothing, basically to do with, past, the Glanville, what Glanville did right now. It's on, depending on what this judge do, that's what the defense has to go on. Now they can, of course, ask that Adrian Love, that she be removed, as well as the Sister Simone, for her to be removed because of some of the derogatory statements that they made about the defense as well as the defendants, and basically presume that they're guilty before the trial, because no matter what, they're still presumed innocent until found guilty.
Right.
And by them having an ex parte hearing prior to the ex parte hearing that was in question, that shows a level of duplicity between the judge and the prosecution.
And they never told the defense about it at all. They never.
Even when the defense brought up the ex parte hearing that we all know about, and that actually got Glanville off the case, they never revealed, look, we had another one, and that, in full disclosure, they should have, particularly at that point, because they know that if it comes up, it's going to shine this horrible light on the DA's office as well as the trial court,
Right. All right. So let's go to our chat and see what our chat is saying. Scotty Boy said, free the six from this type of corruption. And that's factual info. I've been saying it for a minute. And then look at what we have now. You excellent show, sister and brother, respect, equal right. That's right. I mean, at this point, I think it's just been so much, so many errors for an appeal. And I don't know. To me, it just seems very, very shaky. Okay, so let's get into this next thing I wanted to get into. This judge has the district attorney shook. We got Hot Girl in the house. She said, hey, sister with the tree. We got Messy Marv in the house. Say salute, salute. What's up? What's up? Hot Girl say, hey, Adrian. Scotty Boy from, man, he across the country. He across the world.
The world
coming in to this. He say facts. All right. So Adrian Love. Y'all see that picture? She is shook, Adrian. She is shook. And I know y'all share the same name, but baby.
Yeah.
She is shook. So let me play this clip and then we're going to get into a little why she is shook.
Yeah.
I love this clip of her. This is Because I love to see when a prosecutor is shook. I'm just saying. It
Yeah.
ain't too many times we get a chance to see a shook prosecutor.
Play the clip. Let's see.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go. I think this is it.
Asserted in the state's filings are the result of the fact that, one, from our position, it's not addressed directly, that, what case in chief specifically.
So you are telling me that when our discovery statute says that the defendant is to produce or permit inspection and copying of whatever it is that they're in possession or control of, which the defendant intends to introduce as evidence in the defense case in chief or rebuttal at the trial, you think that there's some kind of lack of clarity about what that means? Is that what you're representing to the court?
Your Honor, I'm representing that was the position that was taken. That was what was analyzed in the cases that we have cited in our amended amendment and supplement to our motion to compel. That is, in our position, a reasonable interpretation. And as we've said in our filing, Your Honor, there was the requirement in Waddell that anything that was within the defendant's possession, custody, or control, where the defendant intended to use the item in the defendant's case in chief, that be turned over. The Waddell court, Your Honor, in analyzing the meaning and understanding of case in chief, as the court correctly pointed out earlier, said that if it is going to be used as both impeachment and substantive evidence, that constitutes case in chief. From there, we made the assertion, the state's position, that if the defense intends, because there's nothing in Georgia law that analyzes it at this level, if the defense intends to introduce evidence as both impeachment and substantive evidence, then they have a duty to disclose it. And that is the origin of the state. And that is the basis for our position.
And have you heard Mr. Steele argue 2 or 3 times before that's not at all what Georgia law means?
We've not made this argument before. So
I don't mean in writing. Y'all have not had
we have
any
literally
discussion whatsoever in front of Judge Glanville about.
As I have said in my motion, Your Honor, what we have argued, the state has said, Your Honor, they have a duty to disclose this. This is stuff that we are entitled. And Mr. Steele has said no, in citing the Georgia statute. He said we do not. I have never asserted, I've never made this distinction. I've never said that case in chief means if it's being presented as impeachment as substantive evidence. I've never made that argument in a written or oral filing.
Okay. All right. Well, I would like for you to take your duty of candor to the court with a little bit more seriousness in the future, Ms. Love.
Respectfully, I take it very seriously.
Okay.
So,
listen.
Yeah.
Listen. Okay, what did you get from that, Adrian?
Well, it just seemed like that she didn't do her due diligence. She didn't do the necessary research. The motion she filed to compel the defendants to produce evidence against themselves. That's dead on arrival, right? You know what I'm saying? And particularly like she said, that can go towards evidence against them, evidence in impeachment hearing to get their lawyer off their case, or evidence to get them convicted. So and then she's not able to kind of like state what this evidence is and how she's saying still didn't reveal nothing to you. Who did you get this information from? You're just throwing things out there and hoping that it sticks, And the judge checked her on it. You know, do your research. You know, don't come up in here half cocked, because that's what you're doing. You know, I'm you know, she too sharp for that.
Yeah, and then I looked up the word candor, forthright. The judge is telling her to stop lying, basically, and not saying it. Like, you come in, you need to take your candor, you need to take that, not take it lightly, because if Brian Steele, this man, and already gave the judge 3 motions that Glanville and already ruled on this, and that's why she asked her, have you already argued this? And she's steady trying to come up with another reason. Well, I didn't argue this part of it, but you've argued this already. And so you sitting here trying to talk around.
Talk around, double talk the judge, you know, like you said, oranges and apples. That was a motion. And that motion, if it would have been granted, then it would have been pertinent to, you know, impeachment or evidence in the trial. So what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And that's what the judge is saying. Keep it real. Keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going for that shit, you know?
And anybody, I'm not even an attorney, and I know the defense don't have to give you anything. Why on God's green earth would they be permitted to turn over any evidence that they're not going to use?
Yeah.
Well,
you know, that's actually one of the, I think that's the 5th Amendment, you know, that a defendant does not have to, you know, produce evidence against himself, though they can compel you. And that's what a motion to compel, right? They can compel you to produce saliva, blood samples, you know, and that can be used as evidence against you. So the court can, you know, rule that, like, you know, this is pertinent to the case, and grant a motion to compel on the merits, you know, and say that, you know, we need you to produce this, you know. But the evidence she's talking about, like I said, I think it's, you know, some of the little things that's been going on, you know, with the, you know, the drugs and, you know, this and that's been going on the side, that really doesn't have nothing necessarily to do with the trial. You know, these dudes, they may be trying to get something extra into the jail system or something like that, and she just focused on these little things, and instead of trying this trial, you know, and getting it over with.
So also, and this was something, the weird part about it, and the reason why I think the judge also got upset at her is because she is the one that put this motion into, she the one that delivered this motion to this judge. She knew the motion had, that's why Brian Steele, if you watch it before, when Brian Steele gave a response, he was upset about this because they've already argued this a couple of times. She keep trying to make him turn over an interview that his investigators done with one of the witnesses. They don't have to do that. The judge didn't already told her that. So the fact that you would bring this back to this judge with no Georgia case law to support what you're saying, and then just thinking that this lady is just going to say, okay, well, let's.
Well, in most instances, in every instance, right? So a prosecution, a defense attorney, they can bring up multiple motions of the same kind, right? So they may file a motion for, additional investigator or something like that. They can file that again 3 months, 6 months down the line. But now the judge is looking for something new. What has changed from the first time you filed to this change that, would, compel me to grant this motion? And if you don't have anything new, don't file the motion. Now you're wasting the court time. And, like I say, we're human. Those are human beings in there. And, she can feel slighted by that, or like you disrespecting the court.
And this trial is going on forever, and this judge is trying to get it summed up. So let me sum up, and then we'll move to the Massy case. I think that, well, I know, and anyone that's watching this, you guys all on TikTok, who's ever is watching this, YouTube, Facebook, you can tell that this judge got a chip on her shoulder with the prosecution, period. Is something going on? People are saying, what's going on with her and Love? Like, she got a really chip. She cuts Love off. Well, the thing about it is that this judge believes in an oversight committee for the district attorney offices, which means that she believes that the oversight committee should come in and look at the district attorney cases and make sure that there is no prosecutorial misconduct.
Yeah.
And these district attorneys, Love being one of them from Fani Willis' office, fought against this to overturn this law for these people to come in. So that's why when y'all see District Attorney Love, when she asked her about the evidence that has not been turned over to the defense, that judge wanted to know why you have not turned this over. How many tapes is left out there that needs to be turned over? District Attorney Love paused and she said, I want to be accurate. And the judge looked at her and said, okay, well, now you want to be accurate.
Yeah.
The judge is on her heels. So the reason why District Attorney Love want to be accurate and just don't want to throw anything out there, because she knows that this judge will send that oversight committee in over this whole case and all of her cases, because this oversight committee can not only come in and check their cases, this oversight committee can get them disbarred and thrown off from being a prosecutor. Yeah, so this is huge. And Georgia, the people of Georgia voted for this oversight committee to come in after Fani Willis' office did the RICO trial against Trump. Yeah. So let's see. So that's why a lot of people was wondering what, and I'm going to say this again, I got the content. I got the motion that the district attorneys put into this judge a while ago, and she is the one that denied their request to overturn the law. She basically told them that Georgian people voted for this commission to come in and look over the prosecutor's work, so I'm not gonna overturn the law for the district attorney. So she basically said that we need these people to come in at certain times to look over these cases. So that's why District Attorney Love, another person, if you are paying attention, and I know you've been busy, you got cuts and pieces of it, but if you're paying attention, another person that's nervous and want the truth to be told is District Attorney Hilton, because she basically been getting into it with District Attorney Love over this evidence, because the judge asked them how many tapes have not been turned over. So Love just threw out there 3. Hilton told her, and I seen it on camera, you need them. And so Love then stood up and said, Judge, we're going back and forth. I need to know, do you mean all of these or all of this or what? And the judge is like, everything. She's like, well, it's way more than 3. Yeah, because you have not, and this is what district attorneys do. And it's just coming out right now because of all of this. We're on hold and a recusal, but this is what they do. They hold off evidence that they were supposed to been turned over. Over a year ago, they were supposed to have turned this evidence over. What is that called? Is it due process?
No, so that's discovery.
Discovery.
And so, usually you arraign Then you have a preliminary hearing, and right after the preliminary hearing is when you get your discovery. And so this is all the witnesses, all the evidence that's against you, and that gives you the opportunity to fight the charges against you. And if the prosecution isn't turning that over, that denies the defendant a fair trial.
Exactly. And what did we just see behind this in the Alec Baldwin case? This is the main reason why the Alec Baldwin case got turned over with prejudice, so they cannot refile on him, because they deliberately withheld evidence from the defense. And this is what they, Adrian, isn't this what they do? This is what the prosecution do all the time. But see, they on their heels right now. Let's see what Scotty Boy got to say. He said, let's put it like this, right? When a judge gets removed from one of the biggest trials in Georgia, what are we waiting for now? A bus. Listen, I thought it was supposed to have been a mistrial too. Once the judge got removed, I think it still should be a mistrial, because once this new ex parte stuff came out, and the judge, okay, listen to this part, Adrian. The judge that made rulings on a lot of motions and evidence was in this ex parte already talking like the defendant is guilty.
Yeah, which is against say the American justice system. Though we know we as citizens of this country, as Black folks, we know how the system works. And I think about the guy Christopher Dunn. He's in Missouri, as a matter of fact, right out there with you.
Yeah.
And he was released after 30 years, and come to find out, the witnesses that the prosecution used to convict him, were coerced. The witness came out, they said they were coerced. They were told, like, say it was this guy. So we know what goes on behind closed doors. And these prosecutions, they of course, they want to. I believe that a lot of them, they do want to stop the crimes that's going on in their cities, which is understandable. But when you go about it and doing it, by unscrupulous means,
right,
and you're just burying that for 5-10 years down the line, or however long down the line, and now it's revisiting, the people of the state, the public, and what they say, what's in the dark, it shall come to light. So same thing with this. They're withholding evidence. Now we found out about the ex parte motion. So I suspect that the defense will try to get the prosecutors removed from the case. Though I would say that maybe it would be a good strategy to keep them on the case.
I think so.
Rather than getting rid of them. It may be a good strategy to keep them on the case. And not even, because right now the defense, the judge can get rid of the prosecution too after she found that there was any misconduct. Right. But really, as the defense, like I say, when you come to constitutional errors, it's like, what did the judge do wrong? What did the prosecution do wrong, or what did your attorney do wrong?
Right.
And so I don't see that the defense. I think as a strategic move, they will keep that prosecution on this case, and they mess around to get an acquittal.
Well, they've already put in a motion to get the prosecutions removed, and that motion is still on the chopping block, Adrian. She has not made a ruling on that motion. Brian still basically broke down some things to her about that first ex parte meeting. At first, she wasn't going to touch the ex parte meeting because, Cross had already recused Judge Glanville and said there wasn't any wrongdoing with the ex parte meeting. But she decided that she's going to look into this because Steele made a motion to have the district attorneys removed based on things that was said in the ex parte meeting. So now she has to look into the ex parte meeting at some things that Judge Cross was not looking for, right? So that's why she reserved she says she's not going to rule on that as of right now. She's going to take another look at this ex parte meeting. Now, do you think there's going to be more motions for mistrial or to get Hilton and Love off the case because of this second ex parte meeting that they found out about?
Well, I don't think there's going to be another motion to get the case dismissed. They just recently, she just yesterday ruled on that, right? And they ruled against the defense, as well as denied bail to the defendants, which like I say, she's just playing ball, because I believe if this case was anybody else, she would have granted bail after all that these defendants has been through, because of the court, because of Glanville, because of the prosecution. They should have been given
some kind
bail.
of relief.
Yeah, and I thought that she would maybe grant bail, but make it like $2 million to maybe $5 million just to send a statement. Even though those guys, I'm thinking Young Thug can possibly afford that. But anyway, so and the motion that's in right now, they can amend that motion rather than filing another motion. They can amend it to include statements that were made in that June 7th ex parte hearing. So they can amend it to include those statements, as evidence that this prosecution has taken a personal, interest in this case that has risen to misconduct.
Right. Yeah. Well, to sum it all up, and then we're going to move on to Massy, I think that the prosecution has an uphill battle. They have over 100 and something witnesses, so they have to come up with all of this evidence for each witness that they're going to present. The judge wanted done in increments of 30 witnesses at a time. That's a lot, and she's going through this with them like a fine-tooth comb to see what has been presented to the defense and what has not been presented to the defense. And I think that's where one of her biggest issues could possibly come, right, Adrian?
Like going through the entire witness list, think something, I believe that something is going to come out, and it's going to shine a pretty bad light. That's the DA already has this huge, shadow cast over the district attorney office because of this case. Right. At first, Fani and all, they were shining in Georgia, and now this case has like just it is really doing them bad,
It opened the door to show that these people have really been doing people wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't care what nobody said. Like this, a lot of this stuff that's coming out, and the judge on the case now, she's just so embarrassed. I feel bad for her because Glanville is in brotherhood with her. She can't say anything bad about him. She allowed the attorneys to voice their stuff. They got off about, what was in that transcript. But, I just feel bad for her because she got to come in and clean all of this mess up in a fair way. And she knows that the court has been unfair to these defendants. And in a lot of cases, it's no way I'm with that attorney Harvey in the back. He's standing alone on this. It's no way to clean this up. It's absolutely no way to clean this up. Like I said, you got a judge that made rulings on evidence, on findings, on a lot of things. And this man is on record basically saying that these defendants is guilty and the attorneys is a part of the YSL gang. That's what he's referenced. That's what he referenced in those things. And so when District Attorney Love, after the defense attorneys was going off about it, she tried to say something and the judge told her, I can't say anything to them because if it was said, the things were said about me, I would be pretty upset too. So I'm pretty sure that stuff really got to those people. Like, you know, so more to come on that, guys. I think, you know, a lot's been going on and a lot is going to go on if we don't get a mistrial in this case soon. And it does not look like
it's not.
It's going to give a mistrial to this case. It does not, unless something happens, that something big that shouldn't have happened happens. It don't look like it's going anywhere. It look like we headed to trial.
We're headed to trial. Look like it's going, you know, more likely it's going to take another year to figure all this out, because just right now they're just, you know, really, like you say, Judge Whitfield, she's just trying to figure out, you know, all the evidence. You know, she's trying to sort everything out, and it may take them 2-3 months just to sort everything out where she feel comfortable. Now we can kind of go in, you know, this hierarchy or chronological order and figure things out, because right now it's just in shambles, and she's just trying to, you know, sort everything and organize this case so it can move forward. So that may take 2 or 3 months.
The poor jury. The poor jury.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, I just feel for the jury, man. Like, to have to, and then to say, well, I have not seen the news. I ain't been on social media. I don't know nothing that's going on about the case. Is the biggest lie we gonna believe from the jury.
Yeah. It's impossible. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
You're going to hear it in the store, in the restaurant. You're going to hear it in the drive-thru. You're going to see it on the news, you know. You'll see it on social media.
On your phone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we are here for it. We're going to keep reporting on it. Scotty boy, what are you talking about? Let's see. Judge sounds a bit slurred in his words after lunch. In her words after lunch, yes, she was tired. This is a lot, man. This is a lot. After I realized how much this lady got to do, I was even shocked. Like, whoa. All right, let's get into the Sonia Massy. All right, so that's what's going on, Adrian. Let me show this video. It's of the news update on her shooter. Hold on. Got it right here. And then we gonna get into her case.
Oh, damn, my camera. Okay, there you go. There I go. Yeah. So the Sonia Massy case, you know, just excuse me.
Hold on. Sorry.
You got me?
It was, but I didn't share it. Hold on, I'm about to share it right now. Sorry. Okay, here we go.
Church will host a community healing and listening session, giving friends and neighbors a chance to mourn the loss of Sonia Massy.
The Springfield mother was shot to death by a now fired sheriff's deputy after she called 911 for help. Meanwhile, our Dave Savini has uncovered new details about that officer's past. And Dave, there are serious questions about why he was hired multiple times.
Erica and Joe, CBS News has uncovered notes from one of Grayson's former police chiefs during a reference check for his next police job. It was a warning of the trouble Grayson had already caused, and it doesn't stop there. Another supervisor said he failed to obey orders, especially during the high-speed chase you're about to see.
Wow.
The red flags and warning signs were there prior to Deputy Grayson firing those fatal shots into Sonia Massy.
I'm trying to get help.
A woman home alone who called police for help over a possible intruder, but instead ended up with Deputy Sean Grayson. Grayson, who's now charged with her murder, had a troubled career that began with a stint in the Army, a discharge for misconduct, then followed by more accusations of misconduct.
Check your front yard.
During his time in law enforcement, described as having trouble obeying orders.
We're at the end of 2nd Street. She's taking a right.
Like with what happened here at his 5th police job when he refused an order by a superior at the Logan County Sheriff's Department to terminate a high-speed chase over a traffic infraction, his speed at times reaching 110 miles per hour.
Are you pursuing? I'm about to terminate. She's flying up 121 right now.
But Grayson didn't stop. He did, however, turn off his lights and siren, but kept going anyways until he hit a deer.
Well, I'll definitely be terminated because a buck just smacked the side of my driver's side door.
Did you violate a direct order
Yes.
from a supervisor about termination?
Yes, I did.
Grayson was questioned by a deputy chief and other top staff after that crash in Logan County.
Do you agree, before we conclude this, that there is a mountain of policy violations that you committed 7 months on?
How are you still employed?
Yeah. It's like who's doing the psychological evaluations on these people, right? Because it was obvious, like, from his, he got dishonorably discharged. Is kind of like, some ambiguity associated with that, but he was supposed to be honorably but dishonorably honorably discharged, as well as the two the DUIs, and you see he's subordinate, he's not following orders. He should never have been hired, particularly just the fact that he's been to so many different police departments. Six. In like the last 4 or 5 years. So that should have raised red flags in and of itself. Coupled with all the other things, he should have never been hired,
Right. And I saw interview of the guy that actually hires those officers for the location that he was at. And he said that he never knew anything. He never knew a past prior record. So they asked him, did you do a background check? No, we don't do background checks. How do you not do background checks on a police officer?
We kind of can surmise why they didn't do it, because it's like they just kind of passed him on through. They fast-tracked him because of, reasons, that we're well aware of. His military background. He's, a white guy, and those are good criteria for the officer to be a police officer now.
He's taking on a job. Okay, so literally they send doctors to get a job for a doctor to work. Yeah. They send them through a grueling credentialing process, these hospitals do. I mean, months before they even start. There's so many background checks ran on them in all different levels.
Yeah.
How in the world Are we letting police officers that carry guns, that interact with our children, interact with us, our parents, everybody, the world, and we're not running background checks on them? They're running background checks on McDonald's workers.
Yeah. I mean, just the DUIs alone, the 2 DUIs alone is like, those should raise the felony. The second one should have definitely been a felony. How you get 1 DUI and then another one and it's not a felony? So it's like, what happened with that? What happened with that case? Did they give him a slap on the wrist and reduce it to a misdemeanor? What classes did he do? What was the requirements behind him getting those charges reduced to misdemeanors? Because obviously they were misdemeanors for him to be, because you can't have a felony. And I've seen where they've not hired police officers because they had a marijuana use, charge or something like that.
Right.
And so it's just, it's just telling that, he's a white guy, he's ex-military, and he's aggressive, and that's what they wanted on their police force.
Mama said these people is doing what they want to do to whoever they want to do it to, and ain't nothing being said about it. Scotty Boy said, always a white guy who was involved with the death and abuse of a black people. That's factual info. Well, I mean, we've been going through it so long that it's numb to us. It's like common. It hits us, especially when it's a woman. It hits us when it's a man, but a woman, a child, it just don't sit right. And the fact that they let this man go through 6 police departments and no one ran a background check. I don't even understand, how can you be a police officer and with a misdemeanor, Adrian?
And so I there is a background check process, but like we say, they passed them along. They hit that, whatever they needed to do, because like you say, 6 different police departments, they did some type of background. They just chose to allow this person to become a police officer. And like you say, it's like, one of the things that I learned today that came out is that, Sonia Massy's mother, she called 911 the day before. Mm-hmm. And, she specifically told them, like, look, my daughter, she's dealing with some mental health issues. And she said, please do not send a police officer who is aggressive or combative to my daughter's house. Really? She asked him. So it's like, we already know, what we're facing when the police come to our homes, where a mother has to try to get in front of it with a dispatcher to not have, this police coming to her daughter's home and kill her. So she knew it, but she needed help. And she asked for a mental health specialist rather than a combative police to go to her house. So this is common knowledge now. It's common knowledge that, we're brutalized, we're abused, by the people who are tasked with, protecting this,
All right. So, I saw a statement somewhere on YouTube or on someone's podcast where this officer is requesting to be released from jail, basically. He's saying that it's not safe. He's not safe in there. And, he feared for his life. Do you think he should be released from jail?
No, I mean, I understand. Yeah, his life is in danger. He's a police officer, right? So his life is in danger if he's put in, say, general population. But one thing about, prisons, jails, they have areas in the prison that are, specifically for people who you know, police officers, people who are, you know, say high profile, or who feel that their lives are in danger, because you can tell them, look, my life is in danger. I need to be, you know, separated from the general population, guys.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Why he can't just separate it.
And one thing, you know, another thing came out is, so the police union was initially, well, he filed with his union for them to have him reinstated. And this is rare that a union actually denies that request. I'm talking about, you know, and most of the cases, they will, you know, request that this officer be reinstated, even while charges are pending, even while he's incarcerated. But to me, like I said, it's so egregious that this conservative body, because that's what it is, it's a very conservative body, you know, rejected that, you know, declined to represent him and file for him to be reinstated. So he's literally out on the limb. You know, he more likely got his family, possibly his friends, some friends still, but no, he's exactly where he needs to be. Exactly. Sonia Massey's son said it best. He should not be out here walking the streets with, you know, with the general public right now, you know?
No. Mama said her last words was, "I am sorry." Yes, those was her last words. And so I also saw Attorney Ben Crump with her family. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but they did a what is the word?
A visual or a memorial service. I know they did have a memorial service for him.
They did a news conference.
Oh yeah. So they had a news conference, the town hall meeting. You know, the chief of the sheriff's, he came and spoke, and you know, he was very impassionate. He felt, you know, that you know, this officer was representing them. Right. You know, he like the what was his name? His name is Scarlett, I think, right? Chief Scarlett, and so he's like, you know, he wears the same uniform as I am. The same badge. He took the same oath, and for this officer to go out there in the public and do this, you know, is just shameful. You know, but you know, so they did initially. They called for him to resign, for the chief of police to resign. He declined to resign. But other issues came out about the Sacramento Sheriff's Department. So this is not the first incident, you know, that they've had with people of color within the community.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, another one that the press conference that I saw too was Ben Crump. They had her autopsy report. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see the autopsy report. I did see the photos where they show where the bullet entered right below her.
It entered right below her left eye, and it came out her upper right neck, and it caused her brain to just hemorrhage. Yeah. So
great loss of blood. Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically did what he said he was going to do. I'm going to shoot you in your face. Yeah. And so that's basically what he did, on point. And I don't think that he should ever be let out of jail. He pled not guilty.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, if he go to trial, he shouldn't be offered a deal at all. If he go to trial, I'm definitely going to have my foot on his neck. I'm going to report every day on him. I can't stand the sight of his pictures when I see it. It's like a boogeyman to me. It's like the boogeyman.
Well, to me, when I look at his picture, I see a coward. I see a big old coward, you know, coward to the core, you know, and that, you know, that's the word they usually use, you know, are you a coward? But he's a coward. Yeah. You know, and you know, to go in this woman's house And, you know, because of something she said, he felt slighted, because that's what it was. He felt slighted by her saying, cut it out, knock it off, you know. And he threatened her, and then he pulled his gun. Because if you felt threatened by that water, you would have pulled your gun first.
You're right.
You didn't do
that. He walked around the shelter from the water. He walked around it to shoot the lady.
Yeah.
He left the shelter. If he was scared, he left the shelter to walk around it to shoot the lady. The reason why I call him a big bad boogeyman, Adrian, you know how feminine I am. You know how I present myself to men. I feel that men is our protectors, you know, and, you know, I like for men to treat women like women, as being our protectors, as being the lead, as doing, you know how I feel about that stuff. And so absolutely. For me, he should have been a protector. I would have looked at him as a protector. And to come into my house and you are supposed to be protecting me, and I really look at men as protectors. I really do. It's just because we was raised, my uncles protected us. My cousins protected us. Y'all in the neighborhood protected us. Like, it was a big thing back in the day. If a woman or a child got shot accidentally in the neighborhood, it was train wrecks happening. You know, it was a big issue. So I grew up in an era where women was really protected. Like, we was really protected by men. And so I look at him like that woman didn't have a chance. Like, she literally did not have a chance. And I don't care what nobody say. I stand 10 toes down on this. His partner should be charged as well. He should be charged with something, not pulling the trigger, but he should be charged with something, Adrian, because he could have de-escalated that man. He could have said, wait a minute, hold on. He drawed his gun too. He knew that lady wasn't a threat. He knew she was not a threat, and he should have been there to protect her. He's there to protect her just as well as his partner was there to protect her. So the fact that he allowed his partner to take it to the next level, he should bear some accountability as well. And I know they don't, his police department don't want him to bear some responsibility, but I believe to my heart and soul that that man had a duty to protect her against his partner. How do you feel about that, Adrian?
Well, I agree with you, right? And just kind of like, I guess, being devil's advocate, because we talked about this last week. And, when I watched the video again, because I said it was a knee-jerk reaction. Someone pull a weapon, you pull a weapon. Somebody hits you, whatever, right? You react to things. So initially, the first, the guy, Grayson, he pulled his weapon. And maybe about a half second or so later, then his partner pulled his weapon. Right. And there was a point in time where he could have said, but in this man's mind, you got to think the worst thing that could possibly happen is if this lady file a complaint against that officer. He had in his wildest dreams that he would shoot this unarmed black woman. And so in that, so I don't see charges come from that. I know that we talked about, and you mentioned like just basically it's a good Samaritan law, right? If you see something, in some instances, you're required by law to report that. Right. And so he had that opportunity to do that, though in that moment, he never thought that, he didn't see a threat. He knew it wasn't a threat, but he probably knew that this guy he was aggressive. He do it, look at what he did with the car, You know, you had no reason to continue to drive, and you continue to drive. So he's showing his partner's behaviors that were like, man, what the hell are you doing? So, the last thing he thought was that guy was going to pull, his partner was going to pull the trigger.
But here's my problem with him, Adrian. You giving him more slack than me, because he was looking at the same lady that this guy was looking at. He looked at the same lady that you and I and the rest of the world looked at on his camera.
Yeah.
And how on God's green earth did he see a threat to pull his gun? He knew, he walked around and seen wasn't nobody else in the house. So how that's my problem with the partner. Why did you pull your gun? Because I guarantee you, if it was a senior if he had a lieutenant as a partner or a senior person, they would have told him, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, put the pot down, wait a minute, let's see what's going on. He just didn't say anything. And the fact that he pulled his gun, I give him no slack. I give him none. Mama say, I don't think the partner should be a part of this because he asked, where's the gun? And he wanted the help. No, that wasn't a partner that asked where the gun was. That was the police, the commander, the lieutenant that came. Because they had reported, Adrian, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they initially report that this person had a gun or it was some kind of threat to them?
Oh yeah, so even like shortly after the shooting, it was reported that it was a self-inflicted injury.
Oh, okay, self-inflicted.
That she had shot herself, and so it was like, what were they thinking at that point? You knew that she did not shoot herself. Why would you put it out? And it was over a radio call.
Right,
because it's transcribed and and it was verbal. So why would you put it out there that that Sonia, that it was self-inflicted, knowing that this officer shot her? So the family are, they're investigating, they're exploring, whether there was initial cover-up.
Right.
But there was never nothing to indicate that there was any kind of weapon or anything involved. There was no reason. There's no reason, no justification whatsoever on the part of this officer pulling his gun and killing this young woman.
Right.
No.
Well, you guys, Adrian summed it all up. No justification, no reason for Sonia Massy not to be here. We both agree that Sean Grayson needs to be in jail. He's exactly where he needs to be. He don't need to be bailed out. He don't need to be on house arrest. He needs to sit in jail, and he needs to be there a long time. I believe in fair trials, but I don't know what kind of trial is going to be. Everyone has a defense, right, Adrian? Everyone has a defense, but it's on camera. For America to see it. So he'll have to live with that for the rest of his life. His family will also have to live with it for the rest of their life. I do think, and I'll stand on this, and I'll say this lastly, if we start holding these police officers to a standard where when they do stuff like this, we not only sue the city, but we sue them and their household and take their family houses and family cars and kids' tuition and give it to the family that they have taken an innocent person life, then I think that trigger finger won't be on the trigger so loosely when you start tapping into their family stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll leave with that.
It's like so many different levels of things that police reform. Like even the vetting process, hiring these officers. I also, would implore more Black men and women, brown folks, people of color, but particularly, Black,
Yeah.
to get involved, to be part of that infrastructure. These are our cities. I messed my record up back when I was a kid, and it's like that's what a lot of us do. It's like we're losing the game before we even start.
Right.
I caught a life sentence at 19, and it just that I spent most of my life in prison.
Right.
And it's like, so now, getting out and trying to do it over again. I just imagine what's, going on with the next young person.
Right.
And, I work in the juvenile justice center. And so I see these young men and I'm telling them like, this is a crystal ball into the future.
Right.
Once you get that felony, once you become a part of the criminal justice system, it's like now we're barred from being, say, police officers or probation officers.
Right.
And we need to be in our own community with guns, with cars, with radios. We need to be answering these calls when someone calls in our community because we understand our community.
Right.
We understand when somebody say, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We know that no threat.
Right.
We wouldn't even feel slighted by it because we know that she's saying, cut it out.
Right.
But this officer saw a Black woman and he felt slighted by that statement, and he threatened that woman, he drew his gun, he killed her, and he needs to spend a life sentence in prison.
Yeah, he need to spend the rest of his life in jail. And I wish it could. Well, I don't believe in the death penalty, but I do believe in being on death row forever because it's not fun.
I have different views when it comes to that, but I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he needs to be locked down. So, with that being said, guys, this has been a great show, Adrian. As always, I love you, my boy, my co-host, my business partner, my. Anyway, until next time, we'll have some more updates on YSL, I'm sure, next Wednesday. If anything changed or get updated with the Massy case, we'll give you some updates on that. But I do have Adrian looking into this other case that I want to talk about because it might end up being like the boy Daryl Brooks, the Sarah Boone case. She's looking for an attorney adamantly. She didn't put out a wanted ad for it. And so we're going to get into that a little bit, but I want to keep you guys updated on the YSL because I know a lot of you hit me up about YSL updates. So I want to keep you guys updated on the YSL thing. All right, Adrian, until next time, my friend, I will see you later. Let's give our people a big hootie hoo.
Hootie hoo.
And we are out. All right. Let's end it.